cooled off substantially since yesterday. Yesterday, summer's out, kind of hot, and talking to the Tennessee coaches before the game, and they'd just soon be it'd be 110 because, folks, wait till you see the weights on these Mississippi State offensive linemen. I've never seen anything like this.
Eric Moulds back to receive the kick of John Becksford. Tennessee won the toss. They will defer to the second half, and they will kick it short. And the ball is fair caught at the 21-yard line by Omri Meek, a reserve tight end for the Bulldogs of MSU. They run a pro-I offense. Derek Tate, Kevin Bowie will share time with Michael Davis at running back. McCrary's a good fullback who can catch the football as well. They've got some good receivers. And these guys, Jesse James and his gang, they are huge. Now, Brian Anderson, who's the baby of the group at 6'5", 278, does not start. Dan Hoover, a sophomore out of Fairhope, Alabama, gets the start there. But we'll tell you about James, Wisner, McCann, and Hayes up front. These guys are huge. Moulds is the motion man. And the give is to the fullback, Fred McCrary. That's only the 5th time this year he's run the football. Tennessee runs the 4-3 defense. They lost a bunch of starters, all the guys up front. So guys like Shane Burton and Steve White at the ends, the tackles, Stone and Taylor, have to get it going. They got a good linebacking crew with Kidd and Talley flanking Scott Gallion. And then in that secondary, they're beat up a little bit. Sean Summers subs for the true freshman Terry Fair. A couple of tight ends, Kendall Watkins and Brandon Mann. Moulds again the motion on 2nd and 5. And we had whistles. Play clock was just about down to 0. They possibly didn't get it off in time. Kevin Bowie was the ball carrier.
Before the ball was snapped, ball started off 5 yards, still second down.
Al Ford is the referee today. How about the size of these offensive linemen? Now, UT, nothing to snicker at, but look at the size of these Bulldogs. Jesse James goes 316. Jason Wisner, 327. Henry McCann, 303. Melvin Hayes, 328.
And Purvis Hunt, 378. Wow.
And the pass straight ahead to Fred McCrary was incomplete. And there's a flag on this play back in the offensive backfield, and that may indicate holding or something of the sort as the Volunteers are clapping. I was reading my family the other night, Tim.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
The size of this Mississippi State offensive line, and there's Al Ford's crew working the game today. And my 7-year-old said, these guys need to meet Jenny Craig. They are so big.
We had to bring the 7-year-old with us. The assistant writer. Talk to Rayburn about that.
2nd down, 24 yards to go, all the way back to the 7. And problems as Tate hangs it up onto the flank. It was intended for Fred McCrary. Well, at least they didn't go backwards on that play. Here's a situation where on the very first possession of the game, Derek Tate might do well to get a few yards here, give the punter some breathing room, and get that football out of there. Jackie's offense averaging only 278 yards a game, nearly 90 less than last year, and that was not a very good team at 2-5-1 in the league, 3-6-2 overall. They're mediocre on 3rd down, and they face a 3rd and very long. Nobody but the quarterback in the backfield. He's in the end zone and runs it out. He's got some room, escapes a couple of tackles, and finally gets it out to the 18-yard line. That'll be an 11-yard gain for Derek Tate. Ben Talley, the right linebacker, chased him down.
And as you mentioned earlier, Bob, Derek Tate having a problem with his ankle. It's affected his throwing, and it certainly has affected his quickness, because this guy can really get out there and run with the football. When he pulls it down and run as a defensive coordinator, you'd almost rather have him throw it.
The punter is Andy Russ. Didn't hit it very well. Taken at the 44 by Sean Summers. He's across midfield, and Tennessee has outstanding field position. James Holloway tripping up the returner after a 37-yard kick and 7 on the return. So we have a look at the Volunteers offensively for the first time. They run a multiple offense with Todd Helton running things. Little man Stewart, the big story in the backfield. Mose Phillips, a tough fullback. And up front, they've got some good people. All of them back. Lehman, Mays, Miller, Smith, and Ratliff, all veterans, very seasoned. And Helton with the left hand out to the left side. It's Nilo Sylvan. Charlie Davidson refused to let him go. He put a bulldog hold on him, and then about 5 more members of the kennel showed up. The 4-3 defense of Mississippi State. You may say, wait a minute, that's a 3-4. But Wesley Lisi, the outside linebacker, does play down as a defensive end. They've got some good guys back there. 6 career interceptions for Charlie Davidson. Walt Harris has 8 interceptions in his career. They've already picked off 4 this year. And there's James Stewart. He's down to the 41-yard line. Andre Bennett from free safety had to get him around the ankles. He broke a couple of tackles on the way.
You know, he was Tennessee's leading ball carrier as a freshman, and then Charles Garner arrived on the scene. Nice hit there by Andre Bennett. And Stewart and Hayden, they didn't play as much after that, and they are certainly anxious to get the football this afternoon.
7 yards a carry for Stewart this year. Helton on a ball tipped and hung up there for a while. It appeared that Nilo Sylvan had a chance to catch it, but he couldn't get it cleanly, and that ball hung dangerously in the air for a while.
There was a mistake in the Mississippi State secondary on that play, and the wide receiver for Tennessee was absolutely wide open. There was no one close to Sylvan.
Tom Hutton had a 49er against UCLA. Nobody back to receive the kick. The deepest Bulldog is at the 25-yard line. Looks like he's pooched it pretty well. Inside the 5, and the Volunteers will down it at about the 2.5-yard line. Scott Gallion down there, number 93. So Hutton, a former walk-on, gets the job done. 38 good yards for Tennessee, and the Dogs are deep again. Come back to Starkville. We're 3 minutes and 37 seconds into the ball game. No score. Each team's had a possession, and Mississippi State starting very deep in its own end with Derek Tate running this pro-I offense. Motion man was Bernard Ewell. And a big hole for Kevin Bowie. He cracks it out to the 10-yard line before middle linebacker Scott Gallion stopped him.
Look at the right side of this Mississippi State line. You've got Hayes in there, Hunt. Good quickness displayed by Bowie. He's got good quick feet. Michael Davis more powerful. Bowie a little bit more elusive. And he gets it out. A nice gain on first down. Gives him a little breathing room. Now it's 2nd and 3.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see a guy who only averages 3.4 a carry up among the career leaders in yardage. He just doesn't break it that often. Quick give to the fullback, Fred McCrary. And an interesting trend here early, Tim. In the first 2 games this year, McCrary had only carried the ball twice for 18 yards. He's already carried it today a couple of times. He's a good pass catcher, and he has their only receiving touchdown of the year.
Both these fullbacks are similar. McCrary on one side, Mose Phillips on the other side. Both good blockers that catch the ball well. But their primary purpose is certainly not carrying the football.
Couple of tight ends, Kendall Watkins and Brandon Mann on 3rd and 1 with a single back set. Tate will keep it himself and follow the left guard. Jason Wisner over there pulled a calf muscle just before game time, so we may see Brad Ainsworth, who backs him up a bit. Jesse James, the left tackle, a preseason All-SEC, as is center Brian Anderson, who's nursing an ankle sprain he suffered against LSU. And Philip Fulmer's defense comes up big. It'll be 4th down for Mississippi State. They didn't make it. again, another deep punt for sophomore Andy Russ out of Nashville. Of course, Billy Williams is injured. He's not available for kick returning, so it's Sean Summers, and there's another bad-looking kick. This one taken on the offensive side of midfield. And down to the 42-yard line. A 6-yard return after just a 35-yard kick. James Holloway evidently shaken up after making the tackle. And of course, SEC teams are aiming for the Georgia Dome in December. The side of the championship game December 3rd. Game time 3:30. All general public tickets have been sold. The only tickets left will go to the participating schools. Another big event coming up in December for SEC football. Clay Mack, who backs up Charlie Davidson at the right corner, is the man who was hurt on that special teams play. We'll take a timeout just over 5.5 minutes into the first quarter. No score. And we're back after this from your local station. Clay Mack, 6-foot junior out of Dallas, the man injured on special teams, still being worked on by Paul Mock and the Bulldogs training crew. Great field position for Tennessee. And number 24 is Aaron Hayden. 11 yards on that play. He's a 6-foot senior who goes 214. He backs up James Stewart at tailback. He's gained over 1,250 yards in his Tennessee career. Aaron Shotez Hayden.
Right on.
And a first down at the 30. Tennessee approaching the orange zone where they had no success last week. Same man gets the call off the right side this time.
And I think the biggest surprise from the game last week, Bob, if there are any surprise when you play the number 1 ranked team in the nation, was I was not convinced that Tennessee's offensive line wouldn't be able to handle the Gator front. And, those 4 down linemen for the Gators proved to be immovable.
Well, they gave up 5 sacks alone last week. 7 on the year after only 11 all season in '93. First carry of the day for the fullback, Mose Phillips. And the Volunteers on the move. Let's check in downstairs with Bob Kessling.
Yeah, we'll give you an update on Clay Mack's situation. He twisted his ankle, but he has a lot of pain right above the ankle on the bone. So they're going to take him to the hospital and get him x-rayed before they let him come back and play. But they think it's just a twisted ankle.
Out of the eye, 3rd down and 4 for the Volunteers. A fake pitch, quarterback keeper off the left side, and Todd Helton did not make it. He had to get to the 20-yard line. Dwayne Curry, the left inside backer, and the right outside backer, Reggie Wilson, teaming up for the stop. And a field goal attempt coming up.
Todd Helton fakes it to Mose Phillips and decides to keep. Good decision. Johnny Harris was hard upfield. Good defense by Mississippi State. 4th down, and we get a field goal attempt coming up.
John Becksford's longest this year, a 44-yarder against Georgia from the near hash. This is a 38-yard kick. And he misses it to the left. Should have been a chip shot. Had plenty of distance, but he pulled it. And the game remains scoreless. 8 minutes in. So Tennessee continues to struggle offensively. Last week when Florida shut them out, it broke a 158-game scoring streak by the Volunteers. And so they miss a 38-yard field goal, and Mississippi State takes over with, for them, has to be great field position. Their own 21.
So last year, Becksford was exceptional. This year he's struggling to find the goalpost.
Tate slipping down. He was being pursued by Ben Talley. That'll be enough to make you fall down. Here's Jackie Sherrill talking about his sophomore quarterback.
When he's 100% and he can scramble, he can get himself out of trouble. Has all the touch. He can throw the deep ball, the intermediate pass, the short pass. He has the touch to do it all, and he's going to be an outstanding quarterback.
He was pretty good against LSU, wasn't he? Threw for a touchdown. He had 46 of Mississippi State's 101 yards rushing in that game. 2nd and 17 in a quick opener. Michael Davis, the ball carrier, and not much there. Shane Burton, the left end. 6'5", 272 junior.
Mississippi State going with a draw against Tennessee. Larry Marmee and the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, and Dan Brooks, the defensive line coach, good on calling those stunts underneath, and it ran Shane Burton right down into that draw. Mississippi State doesn't want to do anything early in this game to put themselves in the hole. And so they're not going to take a lot of chances. They haven't got to the 20-yard line yet.
3rd down and 19. Into the end zone. And he throws it out to the right side, complete. But Michael Davis taken down for a big loss. And Mississippi State continues to move backward offensively. Sean Summers was right there for the stop.
2nd and long, it was a draw. 3rd and long. You see the rush inside, but Tennessee well prepared. Sean Summers right in the middle of it. Never gave it a chance to develop. Great tackle.
And a 3rd punt coming up for Andy Russ. One of 4 Tennessee players on the Mississippi State roster. He's been the busiest guy out there. Hangs up a nice one this time. Fair catch, and not enough room for the fair catcher. It looked like Robert Isaac made contact with the return man, Sean Summers. A 40-yard kick. Obviously signaling fair catch. Just brushed him.
Silly mistakes that you, as a coach, you just hate to see that. Good hustle to get down there, and then know the rules.
Contact, 15 yards, first down.
Tennessee in better position than ever before. They'll have first down inside the 33 when we come back.
It's the only...
This telecast brought to you in part by Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud sponsor of the SEC. Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley, Bob Kessling, and Jackie Sherrill. He's the guy under the gun. His team's at terrible field position. First down, Volunteers. Bootleg, Helton to the right side. He's a left-hander. He passes the line of scrimmage, has to run it, and he's got the first down. Flags fly. Might have been a late hit on the far sideline.
Flag on the play.
Good job of coverage by Mississippi State. Nice fake by Helton, but Mississippi State stayed at home, and Helton had nowhere to go with the football.
On offense, during the run, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
From the spot of the foul, they'll mark it.
Nice fake, takes it out to the right. You can see Joey Kent coming across. He's got Horn number 82 looking for them. Gamina's in the way. Johnny Harris is in the way down the field. Wall Harris had Sylvan covered, and so Helton decides to go with it. And there you see the block in the back. It was kind of a block in the back. A block in the side, kind of a blocker.
First down at the 34. So they get first down back and lose about a yard and a half. Great play in the backfield. Scott Gamina, the outside linebacker, flags on the field. James Stewart on the carry, and it was a brief one.
Now, there was a block in the back. We got a good shot of a block in the back this time.
Holding on offense on the run, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Milo Sylvan, his assignment is to block Scott Gamina, but Gamina's blitzing. Sylvan can't get there, and so he pushes him down in the back.
Tennessee has started its drives today at the Mississippi State 49, the 41, and now the 32. It'll be first and 21 as they're backed up to the 45-yard line. Single back set with a slot to the left. 3 wide receivers. And Stewart following David Horn, the tight end. He's got good yardage on first down. All the way down to the 33, maybe the 32. That'll get back 13 of those yards on the first play.
Now, some people might be critical of this. They might call this conservative play calling. But James Stewart, when you've got a spread-out defense, with an offensive line like Tennessee has, I mean, that's pretty good odds. So a gain of 12 yards. Now you're back at 2nd and 10, and the first down is within your grasp again.
Helton looking out to the right side for Stewart. He's got some room, and there's a block in the back. Offensive lineman Jeff Smith was out there. Looked like Johnny Harris was the man he flattened with a blow from behind.
And Andre Bennett, flag on the flag.
Good hustle by 310-pound Jeff Smith getting out there. This was set up beautifully. Helton lets it go, and it's open. Smith hustling out there.
20 yards from the spot, still 2nd down.
And he, next Johnny Harris. Good hustle by Jeff Smith. And I'm sure James Stewart could have just used him as a shield and cut back inside.
Well, that's a big shield.
That is a big shield.
6'3", 310, all SEC last year. 2nd down and 15. Helton under pressure, and he throws it away. There's a flag. The flag did not come from any officials on the far sideline. It came from the official standing right next to the quarterback. Scott Gamita and Wesley Leasy coming up from the outside backer positions to sandwich Todd Helton.
Against the offense. Lost the down. 3rd down.
This time Bill Clay, defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, decides to come after Tennessee. Nobody open. Helton dumps it out of bounds. I'm sure that's something that they have been working on. We just got to get somebody in the area. There's Pete Jenkins. He's a defensive line coach at Mississippi State. Developed a lot of great players in his career.
And Tennessee calls a timeout. They're facing a 3rd and 20. Their offense has just been a nightmare so far today. Although their defense has made it pretty much the same way for Mississippi State. They've been hemmed deep in their own end. Next week, it'll be top-ranked Florida traveling to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, and it should be a good showdown. The Gators, the number 5 offense in the nation, and they'll go up against the country's 8th best defense, Abdul Jackson and company, waiting for Jack Jackson and the Gators. Next Saturday, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern, our Lee Apparel SEC game of the week.
Joe Lee Dunn is somewhere right now drawing up coverages. I guarantee you, for that game next week.
Maryland on top of Wake as we check in on the ACC early here. Penn State is impressive. Right now they're ranked 5th in the nation, 3-0. Wisconsin trying to bounce back from that mauling at the hands of Colorado last week. There's our score line number, $1 a minute. You must be 18, and let's check in with Bob Kessler.
You know, Bob, we talked with Jackie Sherrill yesterday. He understands this is only Todd Helton's 3rd start. He said early in the game they're going to throw a lot of things at Helton that he's never seen. Remember, they've had 2 weeks to work on this scheme, too.
3rd and 30 with 4 wide receivers. Quarterback draw. He'll get some of it back. Spun around 2 different times and inside the 40. A 13-yard gain that may not be able to get them into the range of John Bexford.
Well, there goes Helton limping to the sideline. You know, Tennessee coaching staff have seen more limping people this year than they have in the last couple of years. It seemed like they've, as our word coach Kim Anderson would say, they've had a plethora of injuries. And
yeah, a lot of them too.
Yeah.
That's Scott Gamita back there to receive the kick. He did a lot of kick returning last year. He signals fair catch and lets it go over his head. Oh, and it should have been downed inside the 5. Scott Gallion had a shot at it. Tom Hutton deadened the ball beautifully, a 39-yard kick. And the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, in what we can, I guess, most generously call a very sluggish first quarter for both teams, will take over the football. No score, 2:41 to go.
You see Mississippi State assistants, Rick Christoffel on the left, but looks like Bruce Arians in the middle with his head down, offensive coordinator.
Field position has been their enemy so far. 3 wide receivers on first down. Kenny Causey, the motion man, and a give to the single back, Michael Davis. on the corner. He is grabbed by Jason Parker, the free safety, who made the second team all-league squad last year. And he's the Volunteers' leader in tackles. But, Tim, that's not a good sign when your free safety leads the team in tackles.
No, it's not. And this is, you see Mississippi State going with 2 tight ends. They're trying to get the Tennessee secondary involved in support. They're trying to lure them up, get involved in the running game, and then you can expect them to try to, hit a big one on them sometime early in this first half, I think.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Gerald Daniels in motion. Tate with plenty of time. He will air it out up the middle, and it is intercepted. Ronald Davis, the right cornerback, with a brilliant catch. And Tate has thrown his first INT of the year. First pick for Ronald Davis.
This is a beautiful ball.
And
Beautiful
Peyton
ball
Manning's coming in.
Thrown by Tate, and Ronald Harris is supposed to have a hamstring problem and a knee problem. There was a question about whether he's going to play or not. You knew that they would test him early, and he certainly performed fantastically there. What a great catch, especially by a defensive back.
Yes, sir.
Good job, Ronald.
Peyton Manning, the true freshman from New Orleans, running the Volunteers offense. To the near side, Aaron Hayden with some big room. And there's a flag back at the 31-yard line. Johnny Harris, the strong safety, on the stop. A penalty-filled first quarter with 1:39 remaining.
Holding this offense on the run, 10-yard penalty in the spot, first down.
And these Tennessee penalties haven't been severe, I mean, they've been like nudging in the back, really, not really blocking in the back, and so it's been a tough first half so far for the Volunteers. As you look at some of the best talent in America that is now wearing a white or orange jersey.
Yeah, if you're not an All-American, don't bother to apply. There's an end around. Nilo Sylvan trying to get loose over on the far side. Good containment by the Bulldogs. A host of them out there. You see Wesley Lisi, 94, 44, Dwayne Curry, the inside linebacker.
This is a play that has worked successfully in the past for Tennessee, but Mike James does a nice job of staying at home. Eventually turns it in. Finally, help arrives in the form of Leslie Ratliff.
Clock runs with 45 seconds to go first quarter. Will anybody have positive yardage in this quarter? Manning to the left side. Beautifully thrown ball. And down the left side is Kendrick Jones, and he will score. A 76-yard touchdown play. And the freshman quarterback comes in and gets it done.
Now, do you notice that? Most guys are jumping up and down and doing backflips, waving at the crowd. Manning whips it out there, slips it past Davidson. Jones goes all the way, and Manning walks off the field like, hey, this is what's supposed to happen. No problem. Composed individual, no question about it.
Kendrick Jones, first touchdown catch of the season, second of his career. Becksford for the extra point. Lance Wheaton the holder, Mark Holland the snapper, and this one is perfect. And in the final 30 seconds of the first quarter, finally somebody does something offensively, and it's the freshman quarterback who starts it off.
Well, Manning zings it out there, and Davidson is trying to knock it down. He's not quite close enough, and now he's behind the power curve, trying to catch Kendrick Jones. And you see Johnny Harris coming over, trying to knock Jones off, and he takes out Davidson, too, and that's all the way. Big play for Tennessee.
It came 1:20 after the Ronald Davis interception. And Peyton Manning throws for his first career touchdown. A lot of folks think there will be dozens more before he hangs it up in Knoxville. Archie's son getting it done.
Well, he's bigger than Archie, stronger than Archie, and he has had the benefit of living in Archie's house. So, when they talk about these things, he's got the benefit of having a guy that was one of the best passers that ever played, teaching you what to do, teaching you the little things.
69 yards in a couple of plays. They actually had negative yardage on the first play of -7, and then they go 76 yards. And it's 7-0 Volunteers. Didn't take long after the INT by Davis. Becksford's kick. He'll pooch it again. It'll be taken at the 21-yard line. And evidently a fair catch was signaled. Omri Meek, a tight end again. Number 81.
With the clear catch of Becksford.
Becky Sherrill eager to get to the second quarter. This first quarter has been a field position nightmare for his team. Most of their offensive yardage has been backwards. Very experienced coach. Jackie, of course, in his 17th year overall, took Pitt to a national ranking. A&M the same. 3 Southwest Conference titles there. Mississippi State, number 23, a couple of years ago when they went to the Peach Bowl. Eric Moulds, the motion man. Tate with some play action. In time. Up top. That's Moulds. And he's out to the 49-yard line. Eric Moulds, the leading Bulldog receiver. That's his 9th catch of the year. He's averaging 15 per catch, and that one covered 28 yards.
Talking to Bruce Arians before the game, he felt like they had this route on the Tennessee defense. You got to give Austin a little bit more help. You want to get that cornerback back a little bit deeper.
First down at the 49. Moulds the receiver, motioning near side. Give to the deep man, Davis. Sheds one tackle at the line of scrimmage. Shane Burton had a shot at him, and then George Kidd, the linebacker, waited for him, and that should be the last play of the first quarter. Kevin Bowie was the ball carrier. And the first quarter comes to a close with 30 seconds left. Kendrick Jones caught the long touchdown pass. And the Volunteers lead it on the road 7-0.
7-0 as we start the second quarter. Todd Helton has suffered a right knee sprain. They don't think it's serious, but they're going to hold him out just for precautions. They will take a look at him at halftime, but if they can hold him out, they will. So it looks like the Tennessee freshmen are going to get a chance to shine.
Yeah, here in the state of Mississippi. Second quarter underway. Couple of tight ends for the Bulldogs as Moulds goes motion. Second down and 5 at the Tennessee 46. And Bowie's got big running room around the right corner. Kevin Bowie, a 6'1 senior out of Pahokee, Florida. Former junior college All-American at Garden City of Kansas. Running for a team that only managed 44 yards on the total in the first quarter. Tennessee got 76 of their 84 through the air on that last play to Kendrick Jones. So those are our Lee Apparel first quarter statistics.
Good defense in the first quarter, right, Robert?
Yes, sir.
With the exception of that one play.
And a lot of penalties. First down at the 33. Dogs on the move. Bowie again. Bouncing off the left side. And he got deep enough that a secondary man, Raymond Austin, had to force him down with help from Scott Gallion.
Tackled by Summers.
We saw Kevin Bowie in 1992 injure his knee in the season opener against Texas, and he certainly has responded from that. He was the second leading rusher last year and then hurt his knee again against Alabama. Good quickness and power.
Good average today. Second and 4. Tate pitching to Bowie, waiting for a block, and it appears he has the first down. It was Purvis Hunt, the senior out of Jonesboro, Louisiana, out there working on George Kidd. Purvis goes 6'4", 378. There's a look at Jason Wisner. He's only 6'3", 327, nursing a calf muscle. So Purvis Hunt, we're going to see a lot of him out there today in more ways than one. First down at the 22.5. Tate play action, and then a little shove outside. McCrary, he kept his balance for about the final 4 yards. He turned it from a 4-yard gain into about an 8-yard gain. Very versatile fullback out of Naples, Florida.
And as we pointed out, a lot like Mose Phillips of Tennessee. Good hands, and he does a good job blocking, but what he does best is catch the ball and then run with it.
Yeah, they throw to both fullbacks, Tennessee and Mississippi State, more than they hand off to him. Red had 5 receptions for 36 yards against LSU 2 weeks ago. A couple of tight ends on this play and a couple of flags as well.
Before the ball snap, movement by the offensive line, 5 yards, still second down.
2nd and 7. That will make it. Looks like the right guard.
Second down.
Henry McCann.
Well, that's Purvis there. That's Purvis Hunt. That's our 378-pound friend. He slimmed down to 378. He should be able to get going a little early, though, right? Be able to get his engine a little earlier.
I wouldn't want to be the guy in front. 2nd and 7. Bowie feeling his way around the line of scrimmage. Maybe a couple of yards off the left side. Jackie Sherrill pacing. He knows his offense hasn't been that good this year. Only 110 yards a game on the ground.
Let's look at him working there. You see number 59, Brad Ainsworth. Purvis Hunt, Dan Hoover. Bowie patiently waiting for something to open up. That time, very well played by Tennessee. Nothing really cracked open. Now you've got a 3rd and 5.
At the 17. Bowie, the single back. Watkins and Mann, couple of tight ends. Tate taking to the tailback, down the middle, too tall, pass interference in the end zone. Ronald Davis covering Chris Jones.
They brought Jones in from the outside, Moles over the middle. Tate has had a little bit of trouble throwing on that bad ankle. This one sailed a little high on him. I'm not sure that Chris Jones could have got to this, but it's close enough that Davis makes a move, and he grabbed him with his right arm.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. Ball was at the fingertips, close enough. Ruled by the back judge, and here we go. 12 minutes to go. First half, Mississippi State 1st and goal at the 3, down 7-0. Watkins and Mann, couple of tight ends in there as they run out of the eye and send Ewell in motion. Second man, Bowie. No, sir. Big defensive play. Steve White, the right end, number 64. And that defensive line hasn't done much this year. All 4 guys put together had a total of only 37 tackles in their first 3 games.
Well, this was a serious concern, I think, for Tennessee coming into the season. You lost Wilson, Yatkowski, Bonham, and Morris. You replace them with 4 inexperienced guys that just don't have that necessarily the smell of the smoke, the smell of game time. And now Larry Marmee has 5 of them in there right now in his goal line situation.
And Tennessee has called a timeout. With 11:26 to go first half, with the Volunteers leading by a score of 7-0.
Wisconsin 14, Indiana 0. Second quarter, Boston College 14, Pittsburgh 3. Second quarter,
So Tennessee will talk about it defensively. They've got the 7-point lead, trying to protect it. We're back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts. Philip Fulmer thinking about his defense, trying to keep ahead in this game. And in the middle there, Larry Marmee, who's been with John Cooper at Tulsa and Arizona State, head coach at Arizona State for a while.
For 7 years, Larry Marmee.
2nd and 3. Tate, nothing on the flank. He goes straight ahead and almost scores. He's down inside the 1. Steve White, the right end, knocked him down. And it'll be 3rd and about a foot for Mississippi State. They've only been able to score 20 points in their first 2 games. They'll call a timeout and make sure they get it right.
Jimmy Helms talking to Derek Tate. Jackie Sherrill. They're all talking to Bruce Arians upstairs. By the way, Bruce wanted me to say hi to his dad, Bert, who is recovering from a heart attack, actually, and was in the office yesterday with Bruce as he talked to his mom. And so, Bert, we hope you're feeling good, man. And your son hopes they can get a touchdown here.
They need one.
Bruce, of course, a former head coach at Temple.
And Tennessee leads it 7-0. This is a series that's been often played on a so-called neutral site at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. They played there 14 times. By the way, the announcers for this game, selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports, that broadcast a copyright presentation. Any use without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. On a gorgeous Saturday, late in September. Here we go. 3rd and goal. Tate will do it himself. No signal yet. Now there's one. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Derek Tate with his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, when Wisner's in there, they usually like going to the left side, James and Wisner. That time he snuck behind Purvis Hunt, Melvin Hayes, and Dan Hoover. Got a little bit of movement, and that's all they needed.
Tim Rogers the point after. And with 4 minutes gone in the second quarter, the Bulldogs have tied the game 7-0. Derek Tate completed a 28-yard pass to Eric Moulds. That was the key play of that long drive. We'll summarize it for you in a minute. Andy Russ, the punter, handles the kickoff chores. And the left footer down to the 1.5-yard line. Milo Sylvan straight ahead. Not much there. Holding on for dear life was James Holloway. Nice play on special teams after a 20-yard return. That drive started at the Mississippi State 22. In 4.5 minutes, they went 10 plays to tie the game. And again, the key play, that catch by Eric Moulds, that was good for 28 yards.
And an impressive drive by Mississippi State, which hadn't been able to get anything going. They certainly needed to get something going at that point after the big pass and catch by Manning and Jones.
First down for Peyton Manning and the Volunteers. And is that an incompletion or a fumble? Incomplete pass, and let's get it down to Bob Kessling.
Bob, we'll give you an update on Clay Mack. We told you that he had twisted his ankle and had a hurt right above the ankle. Well, they x-rayed it. He has broken a small bone above his ankle, so Mississippi State is minus one of its defensive backs. He's out for the rest of the game. And it looks like Todd Helton also is out. They've got his knee bandaged now and have ice on it. So it looks like it'll be the freshman quarterbacks the rest of the way for Tennessee.
Peyton Manning with a touchdown pass to Kendrick Jones. And he gives it off to Jay Graham, who just checked in. Flag on the play, as Graham's got good yardage out to the 33-yard line. 12 yards for the sophomore out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. But is it coming back?
Holding on the offense during the run, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still second half.
This has got to be driving Phil Fulmer nuts. You know, a former offensive line coach who sent 17 guys to the pros. This is going to be driving him crazy. The strength of this team is in the offensive line, his proficiency. Now, Phil, he knows how to talk to those big guys. He's had a lot of practice.
Offensive guard on the Volunteer Liberty Bowl team of 71 that went 10-2. Second and 21. Look at those penalties. Better than 120 yards combined so far. Oh, what a hit that was. Jay Graham, the ball carrier. Wesley Lisi with a monster hit. Looks like Jimmy Miles is slow getting up. This was a Graham sandwich right here.
Good move by Lisi. Look at that athletic ability. He comes back over the top, and you're right, Bob. It's Jimmy Miles got hit on the head, and he's a little slow getting up. The thing that amazes me most about watching these games and these young men perform is just how quick, just the fact that they're big, that's one thing, but quick and explosive in their change of direction. As you look at Todd Helton there, who is an All-American baseball player at Tennessee, pitcher, first baseman, good hitter.
Yes, sir. Jimmy Miles evidently okay. That's good news. 3rd down and 19. Let's see what the freshman quarterback can do here. They're coming hard. He's got time. Up over the top. And good coverage out there in midfield. Joey Kent, the intended receiver, and Walt Harris was ahead of him, step for step.
Well, once again, a break for Mississippi State. I'm not sure if you can call a penalty a break. I don't know if that's fair, but Tennessee comes out with a big play that's called back, and then they're in the situation backed up. They're not going to take a lot of chances, so they try to air it out on 3rd down. An interception at that point is the same as a punt.
Bernard Ewell averaging 8 yards a return to receive the kick of Tom Hutton. A sidewinding kick that will go out of bounds. Official stepping it off. It'll be 1st down, Mississippi State at the Tennessee 38. Only 26 on the kick, and the Dogs now have field position. Precision, not much a part of this game so far, quite honestly. 7-7 the score, 9:42 to go, 2nd quarter. Great field position for Derek Tate and the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. But Tim Foley, I've got to believe that the Volunteers are still having a bit of a hangover from last week. It doesn't appear they've gotten over what happened to them last Saturday.
Well, it's so difficult to get a group of 70 young men up to their peak to perform against in one of the biggest games of the year. We'll talk about it after this play.
That's Mississippi State field position till now, their own 22. Tate wants it all on 1st down, and the ball is intercepted in the end zone. Ronald Davis again. His 2nd of the day. Here's a guy who didn't get to play for a while because of a knee injury early in his career. Then he was a right receiver for a couple of years, and that's why he can make these catches.
Well, this is a fantastic play by Ronald Davis. They're trying to, Arians and Sherrill trying to strike deep early, and really had a better shot at Causey. Causey had a chance to get open a little bit, but just a beautiful job by Davis going up and taking the ball away from the wide receiver, Chris Jones. Usually it's the other way around, but excellent play by Ronald Davis, who is supposed to be hurt a little bit.
Yeah. He was a wide receiver for 2 years and caught almost 300 yards worth of passes for the Volunteers. Kane's little man, Stewart. Not very little. He goes 6'1", 218, but his dad gave him that nickname at a very early age, and he's worn it forever. He was also wearing Dwayne Curry and Reggie Wilson all over him. And it'll be 2nd down, and they'll call it 11. 9 minutes to go before halftime in a tie game. Stewart again, getting outside. Now he cuts upfield, and his shoulder pads will hit beyond the 33-yard line. Free safety Andre Bennett on the tackle after a 14-yard gain.
You see, we'll watch number 44, Dwayne Curry, in here. He's replacing Juan Long, who was a great linebacker for Mississippi State for a number of years. And Curry is a sophomore from Pascagoula, freshman All-SEC last year, still learning his way around. Great leadership capabilities and a fine young athlete.
Hey, speaking of Curry, Bill Curry knows all about him. He had 20 tackles against Kentucky last year. On the run, great throw by Manning. Far up the left side. Looked like Marcus Nash, the true freshman, with his first catch of the year.
Good fake by Manning. And when he is being chased there by Corey Sears and rifles it up the sideline, Andre Bennett was coming. He was on the move to try to pick that ball off. Didn't quite get there in time. Manning got it in. Beautiful play.
A throw. Stewart, and he'll get about 5 yards straight ahead.
That was Stewart.
they're going to get a big run, Bob, on that cutback one time. I mean, Mississippi State's doing a good job covering up, but they've come close several times in terms of ripping off a big run.
At the 40-yard line, gain of 5, second down, and 5.
Brandon Stewart on the sideline, of course, the other one of the mega big guns that Tennessee has.
2nd and 5. James Stewart and the Bulldogs in mass. Nothing much out on that left flank for James Stewart. Wayne Curry was there, Jimmy Miles.
And this defense will start to form for Mississippi State as time goes on. Both of these schools losing premier defensive linemen up front and struggling a little bit early on in the season.
3rd down and 6. And a little look pattern. Nothing out there. James Stewart covered well by Andre Bennett. They lined up the tailback in a slot position. He went about 3 yards downfield and turned toward the outside. Ball got there in a hurry, but so did the tackler.
Bill Clay deciding to come after Peyton Manning in this situation, and Manning makes the read, dumps the ball to Stewart, and Andre Bennett, nice tackle, sure-handed tackle, and now we're going to have a punt from the 40.
Tom Hutton with Scott Kamina back at his own 10-yard line. Wobbly kick coming up short, and a fair catch at the 12. Only 28 yards on the kick. You know, if you look at the special team numbers from today so far, Tim, you'd think it was raining, the wind was blowing, it would be a miserable day. Here we are on a beautiful 67-degree afternoon, and nobody can kick the football so far.
Well, Tennessee has been in a situation 3 of the times where they're just trying to pooch it in there. Now, the one time he had to bang it out, he didn't hit a very good one. So I know Dick O'Brien, who's a kicking coach at Tennessee, will be talking to these young men at halftime, trying to settle them down.
First down for the Bulldogs at their own 12. 6:14 to go, second quarter. And there's Davis. Haven't heard much from him today. It's been mostly Kevin Bowie. But Michael Davis, the senior from Morton, Mississippi, has 11 on that play.
And he is a truck. Good job there by Purvis Hunt. Nice tackle by Sean Summers. Nice, sure tackle, because that young man is not easy to knock off his feet. He had 900 yards rushing the first full season he played.
He's never played against Tennessee, by the way. His teams haven't played since '91, and he did not see action in that game. He's seeing some now. He's outside, up around the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. 15 on that carry, 26 on the last 2 plays, and Sean Summers had to tackle him in the secondary.
It's time to go into the left side. Kendall Watkins, number 83, the tight end, and Jesse James opening up a hole for him. And where Bowie might make a move and elude that defensive back, Michael Davis puts his head down and goes.
Came into the game with 1,914 career, and again, that's very impressive for a guy who averages only 3.5 a carry. He's got a chance to score more touchdowns here than any running back in history. 3rd consecutive tote for the senior, who goes 6'1", 222, so he's got 31 yards on the last 3 carries. Scott Gallion, the middle linebacker, on the spot. And the Dogs doing what they do best, chewing the clock up on the ground. Maryland's picked up a field goal. Wake has a touchdown. Rutgers giving Penn State a problem today. Not the same for the Hoosiers against Wisconsin. And the Rebels lead the Bulldogs early in SEC action. And a little give to Davis. He had to get just short of the midfield stripe for the first down. And he'll be short. Tyrone Hines, a sophomore out of Brownsville, Tennessee, who backs up Scott Gallion. There's number 47 making the tackle.
Larry Marmee getting Hines some work in there, trying to get Gallion some rest.
And Tyrone didn't play 2 years ago, academically ineligible. Then he had a redshirt year. And now a timeout called by Tate. as he looks at a 3rd and 2 at the 48. And let's get a preview of halftime. Here's Bob Kessling.
Well, of course, Tennessee's quarterback situation has been a story all season long. We'll take a look at where this quarterback situation stands right now. Also take a look at our SEC Player of the Week, of course. One of the great guys and great players on the Auburn defense that had such a remarkable game last week. We'll also check other scores around the country coming up. So that's all coming up at halftime here. Now let's go back upstairs to Bob and Tim.
All right, Robert. You know, we talked about Tennessee having a bit of a hangover from last week. I'm not sure that Bob Kessling, Tim Foley, and Bob Carpenter have come down from what we saw in Auburn last week. That was probably the most thrilling game we've had in our 3 years.
I would agree with that. An emotional roller coaster for everybody involved with that game.
And we hear things have been a little rough down in the Baton Rouge area for the last week, and LSU doesn't play this week, so it's tough when you lose a ball game like that. Then you got to sit around and think about it for a while. They'll be hosting South Carolina at Tiger Stadium next Saturday for homecoming.
But they certainly look much better as a football team this year than they've looked in the last couple years anyway.
No question about that.
So they got to feel good about that.
See how the Dogs feel about a 3rd and 2. They don't want to give up the football just yet. So they give it to Davis. And forget it, he won't make it. Had to get to the 49.5-yard line, and a host of volunteers led by the strong safety Sean Summers, who makes his 5th tackle of the day, getting in on it.
Good job by Summers and the linebacker core. They stand up offensive line, and good fill by Summers, who's playing quarterback but also backs up at strong safety. A good physical young player. Lovie Smith has to be proud of him. He's doing a good job in there today.
There's our man, the Oak Ridge boy, who started against Florida last week and again this week. And the Volunteers were coming. It forced a short kick. And it's out of bounds at the 21. Only 30 yards on the kick by Andy Rust, the sophomore out of Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville. Hey, Smokies aboard. 7-7 the score. 3.5 to go, first half. Come on, Smokey, don't yawn. It hasn't been that bad.
Who taught him to do that?
Smokey and the Bulldogs here. First down, 21-yard line. Aaron Hayden trying to get outside. They get a couple of yards before a bunch of dogs wrestle him down. Dwayne Curry, Torrance Jackson. Dwayne Curry, preseason second-team All-SEC performer. Just a sophomore, as Tim mentioned earlier. He made the all-freshman team in the league last year when he had 95 tackles, second best on the team.
Despite starting only 6 games.
Nobody there. So out to the left side. And it's David Horn, the tight end, on the reception, his 4th of the season. That's what you call a rather disinterested-looking play action in the backfield. There really wasn't a back anywhere near Peyton Manning.
A little fake, but that didn't stop Mississippi State from taking a step to the left, and that's all that David Horn needed to get out in front of Andre Bennett.
David Horn, 6'4", 248 at tight end. First down at the 36. Aaron Hayden losing the ball. Scott Gamina had a touch on it. And who will end up with it? Mississippi State should have had the football. Peyton Manning fell on it. Scott Gamina, the outside linebacker, number 26, had a real shot at it.
Gamina's a heads-up guy that's a punt returner and linebacker, and, you know, he was thinking 6 points, about making a big play, couldn't find a handle on it, and Peyton Manning comes back and scoops the ball up for Tennessee. Prevents Mississippi State from getting a great opportunity here with 2 minutes left.
Second down and 18. Great drop for Manning. Up the middle, crossing pattern. And he's got Joey Kent. 15 yards on that reception. Joey's second of the day. He has 12 on the year. And that appears to be Todd Helton leaving the field. Crutches now, after he banged up that right knee. There's some baseball scouts pretty worried when they see that shot.
That's for sure, because he's one of the top baseball players in America.
3rd down and 3. Manning with good protection. Forcing it in there, and it's still caught. Charlie Davidson slamming a piece of equipment to the ground in disgust. Joey Kent, great job of taking it right away from him.
And this was a timing route thrown right on time, and Charlie Davidson is all over Joey Kent, and Manning is able to get it in there anyway. This is confidence in your receiver. Kent comes back at the ball and make the catch.
Minute 10 to go on a 1st down play. It's too tall for the near side, or rather far side. Courtney Epps, a redshirt freshman out of Dallas. He was a high school All-American a couple of years ago at Carter, one of the great high school programs in the Metroplex. Peyton Manning, though, having a good day. He's averaging about 15 yards, 14 per completion.
Fulmer and David Cutcliffe have to be happy with what they're seeing. I think they've been happy what they saw from their freshman quarterbacks, though, this in the first 3 games, too.
Blitz is coming. Manning dumps it off, and it's too bad for Tennessee. Had Aaron Hayden been able to catch that ball, he had a convoy of blockers ahead of him. But Peyton didn't have a whole lot of time to place it. Good quarterback pressure from the inside linebacker, Mike James, who had that big game at LSU a couple of weeks ago.
Both these young quarterbacks display maturity beyond their years, and we haven't seen Stewart today in this game, but in watching him on film, both obviously very confident, very proficient, believe in what they can do, and have the leadership ability to get it done.
3rd and 10 for the Volunteers. Low ball, and Kent's got it. And that's a 1st down to the 32 of Mississippi State. There was no way that ball was going to be picked off. It was delivered so low. Now, Tennessee has 1 timeout left in the final minute. Manning, and unable to grab it was Mose Phillips. Sure-handed fullback who's caught 7 balls this year. That one would have been tough.
Philip Fulmer, sometimes decisions are made for you, and with Todd Helton limping off the field, it looks like one's been made for Philip. And he's going to have to now go with one or both of the freshmen.
And they're in Bexbert's field goal range. Now they really are. Kent again. And he's inside the 15-yard line. Andre Bennett, the free safety, brought him down after an 18-yard gain. Pretty obvious who Peyton Manning's favorite receiver is. 1st down. And he slams it into the turf to stop the clock. 39 seconds to go. So Tennessee stopping the clock and right back to it.
Good job of avoiding the jam by Joey Kent. Finds that open space. Curry can't bring him down, and Bennett finally corrals him, takes him to the ground. But now we have a 2nd and 10 situation here with 39 seconds left to go.
At the 15 of the Bulldogs. 4 wide receivers. And the Bulldogs across the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Was it them or was there movement?
You know, now that I see this, you know, one of the things that you always had to watch with Archie Manning when you were playing him was he was a master at the snap count. You know what I'm saying? The intonation. He was a master at getting people to jump. And this time, the center got him to jump. Good job, Bubba, but I don't think you can do that. But I know that Peyton probably has that same ability to get those guys moving.
2nd and 15 at the 20. To the right side he goes. Same man, Joey Kent. Walt Harris bumping him out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 32 seconds remaining.
Joey Kent, a freshman All-SEC last year with 10 catches. And obviously,
he may get that many in this drive.
Billy Williams not here. Billy Williams having some physical problem and not on the trip.
He's got 5 catches for 66 yards on this drive. 3rd and 13. Up top, man open, and it's Joey Kent again with a Volunteer touchdown. Great touch by Peyton Manning. Walt Harris trying to figure out what happened. They had 5 wide receivers out there.
Peyton Manning was able to see it right away. Nobody getting any depth. Harris trying to get over to help out, but it seems as though Manning saw it before anybody did at MSU, and he laid it in there. Harris complaining he thought he had knocked the ball out, but 6 points for Tennessee.
And 7 with the point after by John Becksford. I'll say one thing about these Volunteers, they wait a while, but they score late. 30 seconds to go first quarter. Kendrick Jones a 76-yard reception. 27 seconds to go second quarter, and Joey Kent from 17 yards out.
Well, the last time he gunned it out there and just walked off coolly and calmly. This time he realizes that he made the right read, got the ball there on time, and he's excited about it.
Could be a changing of the guard we're witnessing here in Starkville for the Volunteers today.
Sometimes when you're forced to make these selections and plays, you see Kent coming off the ball. Nobody's jamming him. Nobody's near him. And that is obviously just a missed assignment in the MSU secondary. They had 5 wide receivers in the game. And Walt Harris did his best to get there. But you got to give Manning a lot of credit for seeing that and finding it.
Becksford will pooch another one. To the 20. And Chaston Coleman has about 7 yards on the return. Chaston Coleman, a junior wide receiver who sees some action on special teams for the Dogs. And so Tennessee has the 7-point lead back. We're in the closing moments of the second quarter. That was a 78-yard drive over 3 minutes and 5 seconds, engineered by Peyton Manning. Only 13 plays to go all that far. And on 7 of those plays, Joey Kent caught passes. He had a good month in 3 minutes.
He caught, as we mentioned, he caught 10 all last year.
Bowie. And he'll get about 3 yards out to the 30. Mississippi State has a timeout left, but it looks like Jackie Sherrill doesn't want to take any chances deep in his own territory. And the first half will end with Tennessee scoring late in each quarter and leading 14-7 via the air from the freshman arm of Peyton Manning. Young man who was the high school national player of the year, All-American last year, threw for better than 7,200 yards and 92 touchdowns in his high school career, and he's got his first 2 Division I touchdown passes here. Bob Kesseling downstairs.
Penalties, mistakes hurt you in the first quarter.
Obviously, you know, we're not playing in any kind of sync. I was pleased with a lot of things. It looks like when we do what we're supposed to do, we move the football. Got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot offensively. Defensively, I'm proud of. They played hard.
Peyton Manning's performance?
So far, so good. You know, he's a freshman, made some mistakes already. We'll probably play both those young guys.
Randall will get some time in the second half.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Philip Fulmer, his Volunteers going to the locker room, leading Mississippi State here in Starkville. Back with our halftime activities from Mississippi in just a moment.
Mississippi State will kick it off. Nilo Sylvan back at his own 5-yard line. And he's got it. Short kick that came up at the 13. Breaks it, and he's out to the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. James Holloway with his 3rd special team tackle today. Sean Taylor, by the way, a senior out of West Point, took that kickoff for Mississippi State. And Peyton Manning comes out after an outstanding first half.
And sometimes you go through a decade without losing a quarterback, without having a serious injury to a top performer, and then sometimes you run into a season like this that Tennessee's run into. You lose 2 good quarterbacks.
David Horn, the tight end, shifting, and then James Stewart on the carry, breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and Wesley Lisi had to get him down from behind.
Talking to Kippy Brown before the game, the receiver coach for Tennessee. And as you reflect on that UCLA game, their opening game, they played 4 quarterbacks. I mean, has Tennessee ever played 4 quarterbacks in a game that was, you know, up for grabs? It wasn't 50-0?
Not lately. Now with a guy named Schuler. James Stewart again. Dwayne Curry will register his 7th tackle of the day. And there's Clay Mack, the backup right corner for the Bulldogs. He played at UNLV for a couple of years. Didn't play last year after the transfer.
And I think Bob Kessling told us that he had a broken bone in his foot.
A little bone, but it was a break. Volunteers are just across midfield. First down at the 49 of Mississippi State. Play action. Manning smoothly out to the wings. And the tight end, David Horn, has his 2nd catch of the day. 8th tackle by the free safety, Andre Bennett. And that's another first down, covering 11 yards.
You know, and I know that Peyton, as Archie, will tire of comparisons and all of that type of thing. And but there is a certain amount of mystique that goes with Peyton Manning because of his father, I'm sure. And he seems to be mature enough to handle that and use that to the advantage of the team.
Dad, an All-American back in '69 and '70 for that other team up the road, the Rebels of Ole Miss. First down at the 39. Manning with a quick drop and a poke fake. And his man was open momentarily, but there was some good help from free safety by Andre Bennett. Todd Helton's status, we saw him in street clothes. Bob Kessling, what's the story?
Yeah, we talked to Todd on the way to the bench. He said basically this is just a precaution. It did twist it a little bit. He wanted to make sure I told his mom and dad that he's okay and will probably home for supper tomorrow after church.
That's covering all the bases, Todd.
Yes, sir. 2nd and 10 at the 39. Little swing to the right side for Stewart. He's got room. And he's down to the 25 and beyond.
That's a play they ran early, and they kept coming up with blocking in the pack on it, you know, and that time Jeff Smith was out there in front again. But he is really something. He was all SEC in '93, and he's a big guy, 310 pounds. You're going to see him come into the picture there. There's a guy that started on his high school team when he was in 8th grade. So he's been good for a while.
First down at the 24. Crowd quiet here in Starkville, but not now. It's picked off by Walt Harris. That's his 2nd of the year and the 9th of his career. And he's only a junior out of LaGrange, Georgia. Big play man who is selected all SEC in the preseason.
Good disguise by Bill Clay's secondary. They're actually in double zone, and so there's a jam on the wide receiver, and Walt Harris began to get some depth on it, and Peyton tried to knife that one in, and it just wasn't enough room for that one there.
First interception against Peyton Manning.
Talking to Randy Sanders on the sideline.
Bulldogs at their own 12. Tate into the belly of Bowie. And the ball's on the ground. Was the whistle blown? The Volunteers have the football. Kevin Bowie sort of got lost in there. All of a sudden, while he was still straight up, the ball came out, and Sean Summers has recovered it. He's caused a fumble this year, and now he's recovered one.
Got a bunch of fellas pulling on the ball, and Sean's down in there, and he got both hands on it. That obviously is not what Jackie wanted to see after their last takeaway.
Yeah, Walt Harris, who got the pick, and his buddies right back out there. And slipping and falling as he made his cut was Aaron Hayden. Reggie Wilson was there to contain him.
Late in the first half, the Mississippi State defense took the ball away from Tennessee. And on the first play, they threw a pass, and it was intercepted by Ronald Davis. And now, again, Mississippi State takes the ball away from them, and they lose it after one play.
Jimmy Miles shaken up for the second time today.
Timeout on the field.
They're looking at that left knee area. Earlier, he took a shot in the head, and now it's the wheel. Volunteers by 7, third quarter.
And they've taken Jimmy Miles off the field.
On second down and 9, and a man open for the touchdown, John Sartell. No, it's David Horn, the tight end. 82 on the reception, and David Horn has his first touchdown catch of the season. And guess who put it into the end zone for him?
Mississippi been very aggressive on defense, very thorough. And here's the little man, zip, up and in, touchdown, Volunteers.
Becksford for the point after.
Great call by David Cutcliffe. Gives them a 14-point lead. Good execution, too, by the little man. Especially when it's this open, sometimes people can foul it up. But that time, Stewart just kind of laid it out there, and Horn made the catch.
So James Stewart into the all-time Tennessee passing statistics with that one as well. And it's 21-7 Volunteers as we're less than 3 minutes into the third quarter. And a pair of turnovers led to it. Walt Harris got the interception for Mississippi State on the first play. Sean Summers the fumble recovery that leads to the touchdown. Well, the Volunteers finally getting it done inside the 20. They were 7 of their first 10 this year. They could not score in 4 attempts against the Gators last week. So getting inside that orange zone, as they call it, has been a little better today. 14 yards on that touchdown pass. And the short kick taken at the 15-yard line. Angling to the near side with some room is Shaston Coleman. That's the second time he's returned a short kick today. He's got a 27-yarder that time.
You might be wondering why Tennessee is kicking the ball that way. They're trying to keep it away from Eric Moles, who had just an outstanding game against LSU returning kickoffs.
Yeah, he had 4 returns for 163 yards and 258 all-purpose yards. The second best day in Mississippi State history.
So, like I said, that was pretty good, right?
Yeah. He'll give 27. First down for the Bulldogs. They've got good field position at their own 42, and it's Molds to the far side. Play action for Tate. Breaks one tackle. Then the same man comes back to get him. Raymond Austin, the strong safety. This Volunteer defense has been tough. Through the first 3 games this year, they had given up an average of 333 per game through the air.
Mississippi State in the first half had run motion to the wide side and then tossed the ball wide side. So the Tennessee defensive staff, they blitzed the strong safety this time from the wide side of the field, anticipating action that way. It was a play action pass, and Summers makes the sack.
Second down and 14. Tate with time to sit in there. And he rifles it straight ahead. Kenny Causey, number 80. The sophomore out of Biloxi, who was SEC All-Freshman last year with 16 catches. Our Lee Apparel game of the week next Saturday takes us to Oxford, where the Gators will come visiting. Their great offense against that tough D of Joe Lee Dunn and the Rebels. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. We're back to Vaught Hemingway Stadium for the second time this year. Next Saturday. 3rd and 3. Tate out to the corner, and unable to get to the marker was Fred McCrary. Ronald Davis, the right corner, was on him out there. And some State fans are already hollering go, as in go for it. And the punting team started on the field, stopped, then they go, and now they come back again. Jackie says, let's go for the first down. A lot of people talk about how the offensive coordinators and defensive guys run the show, but not on decisions like this. Tate to Davis. Stop cold. But where will they mark his progress? Steve White, the right defensive end, was in there to plug it up. Scott Gallion was in there as well. Where they have it marked, it's very, very close. This could be a matter of inches. And by a couple of inches, the Mississippi State drive will continue. Jackie's had to make a few of those decisions in his 17 years.
And after that play, he was taking a deep breath because it was a fine job by the Tennessee defensive front. And only a little extra effort by Michael Davis got it in there.
Yeah, you give it back to Peyton Manning and company at midfield. It could be in the end zone in a hurry. Now Tate on first down. Yes to Eric Moles out the left side. And he's out of bounds at the 33-yard line. He was dueling with Sean Summers out there. Eric Moulds coming off a career high day. 5 catches for 95 yards 2 weeks ago against LSU.
And Moulds is a lot like Eddie Kennison from LSU and several other receivers in this league that just want to get him the ball out on the corner and let him move.
First down, just inside the 34. And there's Davis straight ahead.
Michael Davis went to Bruce Arians and said to him, look, he started against LSU, and he said, I didn't play well, and I don't deserve to start. You know, start Bowie, let me try to earn the job back. And that's the kind of guy Michael Davis is. And he is certainly running with a lot more authority here this afternoon.
He is a north-south runner. Forget about getting outside. 5-yard average today. Bolts motioning, 2nd and 1. And that's a pretty routine first down. Ben Talley on the tackle. But Michael Davis at 6'1", 222 can take on those linebackers.
What the Tennessee defense doesn't have this year that it's had in the past is the big play stopper defensive lineman. Todd Kelly, Chris Mims, a guy that can just go after and get you, and you have to occupy him with 2 players, or at least a tackle and a fullback.
3 wide receivers on first down, just outside the 20. Davis the call again. Look at him feel his way through. And he's got about 6 tough yards.
I was talking to John Chavis before the game, too, the linebacker coach. They've got 4 guys working hard up there. Good read by Davis. Good adjustment on the block of big number 68, Purvis Hunt. But you got guys in the developmental stage, and there's nothing that can take the place of experience in terms of the learning curve.
Second time in the attacking zone today. 2nd and 5 for the Dogs. And a quick opener to Davis. He's got a first down. He's inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for State. Garrett Tate keeping it simple. Hand it to 37 and look for that big offensive line to get it done.
And this is what Mississippi State did against Mississippi last year. Davis carried the ball 40 times. And now some people would say, well, gee whiz, that's not real creative, but it also wins football games. And sometimes you just have to do what works, whether it's innovative or not.
Same guy. Broke a tackle down to the 5-yard line. had him. No, check it. It was 64 Steve White, not 84 Burton.
And when Bruce Arians was the head coach at Temple, they had a guy there named Paul Palmer who led the nation in rushing. So he's used to calling run after run after run, and it doesn't bother him that much.
Michaels run the ball 6 times for 29 yards on this drive. 2nd and goal from the 5. They look strong side left. That's where Davis goes. And that's where Davis scores! Impressive drive by the Bulldogs, and Davis gets it for the final 5.
Watch number 72 there, Jesse James. He walls out Steve White, and then the rest is up to Michael Davis, who bulldozes his way into the end zone.
And the Bulldogs are right back in it after their turnover led to a Tennessee touchdown. We're back after a word from your local stations. Yards they went. Brand new ball game, 21-14. And a kickoff into the end zone for the first time today. Nilo Sylvan choosing not to run it out. Impressive drive. A 10-play, 5.5-minute run down the field, literally. And it's 21-14 with 6:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. And there's Brandon Stewart, the true freshman out of Stephenville, Texas, who is the Southwest Player of the Year in high school last season. 2 years, ran for 37 touchdowns and threw for 41. And it's Aaron Hayden off the right side with good yardage. They still can't get him down. And he's out to the 43-yard line. 23 on the carry. Charlie Davidson, the right corner, had to ride him for a while.
Good job of running by Stewart on the last series, and now Hayden is in there. And you see Curry getting caught up inside, and Andre Bennett missing. Good job of running by Aaron Hayden.
Freshman All-American 3 years ago, only 500 yards since. He's had some knee problems. Great to see him breaking them like that. Manning looking up the field, and he zings it a little bit too far ahead. Excuse me, that was Brandon Stewart. Looked like Nilo Sylvan was the man he was trying to get the ball to. Brandon Stewart, 6'2", 210. Philip Fulmer told Bob Kessling at halftime we'd see both quarterbacks.
Philip has a difficult job here. You've got 2 very, very talented young men that you want to both get playing time. You want both to be happy.
And a little flare out to the left side. That's Maurice Staley. And he's across midfield.
Staley's another true freshman from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's out of Charlotte. Catching his 2nd pass of the season. Had one against Florida last week.
Good fake, good hustle out there by another true freshman.
Third down and 1 at the 48 of the Bulldogs. And a quick hit to Stewart for the first down. That's about as sure a thing in this league as there is right now. 3rd and 1, and you give it to James Stewart.
Boy, he has been running with reckless abandon, both these guys. I think they're just glad to see the ball again. They came in on true freshman and got a lot of yards and got to handle the ball a lot, and all of a sudden Charles Garner showed up, and that was it for a while.
And Charlie, a 2-year guy who got up in the top 5 of Tennessee rushing all time. Look at Hayden put a move on. Torrance Jackson really didn't know which way to go to try to stop Aaron Hayden.
Tackle by Paul Lacoste.
Hayden out of Mumford High School in Detroit.
And Larry Williams.
Having a good third quarter here as Tennessee chews up that clock. Down to 4:45 remaining. Volunteers lead it 21-14. Second down and 5.
We've got a true freshman out there now changing the play.
Good decision. First down. Great work by the Tennessee offensive front. Jason Lehman, Kevin Mays, Bubba Miller, Jeff Smith, Leslie Ratliff. A true freshman who backs up Lehman, Jarvis Rito. Saw some time at left tackle last week against Florida. Got to be fun to run behind those guys. Look at that average for Aaron Hayden today.
Rito was in there on the screen earlier in this particular drive.
And Hayden will get outside. He'll do a little spin move after Charlie Davidson was the first man to get him. And then it took Dwayne Curry and Paul Lacoste to finish him off. And let's get it downstairs where Bob Kessling will talk about some of that play in the trenches.
Yeah, you talked about Jarvis Rito playing a little bit. Also right now, Tennessee has Robert Poole, another freshman in there at right tackle, and Trey Peterson at right guard. Philip Fulmer's want to develop some depth, and this is a chance for some of the younger guys to get a chance to play when the game's on the line.
Poole out of Birmingham, Peterson out of New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Nothing much there for Aaron that time. Larry Williams, third string guy at that nose tackle, where Arlie Gibson played so well for Mississippi State for a couple of years, all SEC performer there. Boy, they were strong up the middle, weren't they, Tim, with Arlie Gibson and Juan Long right behind him?
Oh, you bet. And, you know, whenever Pete Jenkins is around, he's a defensive line coach here. He's sent 24 guys to the pros, and he's a quality technique coach.
Couple of freshman wide receivers out there, Nash and Staley, and the ball is intercepted. Johnny Harris. Yards on the return as Johnny Harris has the first INT of the season for him. He had a couple last year against the Arkansas Razorbacks. 2:51 to go. Third quarter, Tennessee looked like they were going to score. Philip Fulmer's team appeared to be ready to score, to take control of this football game. But now Jackie Sherrill got the big turnover. The INT by Johnny Harris, and good field position for the Bulldogs. That's Bowie. Pretty good defense by the Volunteers. Leland Taylor, the first man to get there. We haven't heard much from the right tackle today. And there's Johnny Harris, who got his third pick of his career a moment ago.
I think you'll see Talley upfield on that tackle, too. He guns it down over the middle. Stewart does just a little bit behind wide receiver Marcus Nash. And Johnny Harris makes a beautiful play.
Looks like Leland Taylor, the sophomore out of Louisville, is shaken up. This guy's got a great future ahead of him if he stays healthy. 6'3", 285. He was all SEC on the freshman team last year. Maryland in the ACC controlling Wake in the third quarter. Penn State giving up a few points to Rutgers today, but the Nittany Lions in control. They're on a collision course with Michigan in that Big Ten. And Georgia has a field goal to lead Ole Miss. 1-900-267-5757, our Jefferson Pilots scoreline. $1 a minute. Latest in college football. Trey Teague in there to help out up front for Tennessee, a redshirt freshman out of Jackson, Tennessee. Tate under pressure, has to unload it and does. Bowie runs into a blocker and then is tackled from behind. Corey Stone, the left tackle. after quarterback pressure from the right end, Steve White.
Well, they're trying to set up a screen, and the idea is that you hit the defensive lineman and then slide to the outside. But, you know, White got right around the corner on Jesse James, and he wasn't able to slow him down at all. And, of course, this messed up the timing of the play. But he got it to Bowie. Great athletic maneuver by Tate. And then Tennessee defense converts.
They're down and 10 at the 45. Tate has to scramble a bit. Anybody open? Oh, what a hit it was. Michael Brown, the intended receiver, and just as the ball got there, so did Jason Parker.
Brown incomplete. Thrown up by Parker.
And this is always dangerous. Nobody open. Tate is flushed. Looks back across the middle. Michael Brown coming. Parker coming. Parker, being one of the best defensive backs in the country, unloads on the wide receiver. An incompleted pass. Now we're going to punt it away.
John Summers inside his 15. Andy Russ tees it up. A low wobbling spiral. And a fair catch at about the 12.5. So the Volunteers survive, and then a 42-yard kick, and we invite you to join us for a great football matchup at the Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl, December 30th. Send a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to the address on the screen. Register to win a trip for two, including game tickets, hotel, and airfare. The winner will be announced during our SEC Game of the Week, November 26th. You must be 21 or older to enter. Peyton Manning is back as the Tennessee quarterback. And out to the left side, Jay Graham.
Jay Graham, your ball carrier.
Graham broke a 21-yarder against Florida a week ago. Peyton Manning at 60% throwing so far. A couple of touchdowns, one at the end of each quarter in the first half. Interception here in the second half.
And he's read very effectively, too. Philip Fulmer talking to Mark Bradley there on the sideline, the tight end coach.
First down play. Graham again, patiently waiting for some daylight to open up ahead. You know, sometimes running backs just have to be a little patient back there and wait for things to develop. And the sophomore did that very well.
Some of them are so talented, and they get to the hole so fast, they just have to learn to take it easy. Let the line work. And they don't have to do it all themselves like they did in high school. They got people that can help along and just use the assistants.
6 yards there on first down. And suddenly they've called Graham's number 3 times in a row.
Well, from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Jay Graham rushed for 4,000 yards in high school, scored 57 touchdowns, and so he'd be a good guy to give the ball to, I guess.
Here's the 3rd and 1 coming up. Will they get the play off? 5 seconds left in the quarter. And the clock goes to 0. So the 4th quarter will get underway with Tennessee at its own 33-yard line and nursing a 21-14 lead. 15 minutes to go. We welcome you back to Scott Field in Starkville, where the 7th largest crowd ever to see a football game is in attendance, better than 41,000. 3rd down and 1 for the Volunteers. And it's obvious the first down has been attained by James Stewart. The ball is on the ground, and Mississippi State gets it. Plenty of yardage to keep the drive going, and then the ball coughed up at the last second. Might have been Charlie Davidson who came up.
Al Cotton can't stop James Stewart, and he keeps driving, and he keeps driving, and Charlie Davidson keeps working to pull the ball out, and
a fumble caused and a fumble recovered.
Big play by Charlie Davidson. Dothan, Alabama.
And off the left side, Mike Michael Davis. There he goes inside the 30. Sean Summers, 7 tackles today in the secondary on the stop. 12 yards on first down.
Once again, the Tennessee defensive staff, concerned about running to the wide side of the field, sends Raymond Austin. You're going to see him come into your screen on the right there. He slid by Michael Davis. Gallion can't hold on. And now Davis gets to the perimeter.
Davis with a 5.4 average today. 2 yards better per carry than his career average. Tate. Little pitch to Davis on the outside. He'll get 6 or so. That might have been a busted play that turned into something pretty good looking.
Leland Taylor back in the game. We understand that it was simply leg cramps, and so he's back in there.
And we're carrying 6'3", 285. That's a team of Charlie horses. 2nd and 3. Tate to Davis. Big hole up the middle. And he's got the first down. Tackle 5 of the day for Ben Talley.
Got to give number 57, Dan Hoover, a lot of credit here. A guy that's playing for the injured Brian Anderson. And you see him working there. Good job. And then Michael Davis, who is 225 pounds, disappears behind Purvis Hunt as Jackie Sherrill looks on.
Yeah, there's Hoover, 57, the sophomore from Fairhope, Alabama. Snapping the football. Davis again. And he ran right into Leland Taylor. But they are really doing a job up front, are these Bulldogs.
Good job by Ainsworth. Davis stumbles a little bit. But that offensive line, Denver Johnson's here at Mississippi State, is working very effectively.
2nd down and 7. Davis alone back there. He did well to get a couple of yards. Tyrone Hines got there first. Davis spun around and heading south managed to get beyond the line of scrimmage.
Bill Fulmer, very successful as a head coach in his interim period with Tennessee while Johnny Majors was ill, and then last year in his first season to the Citrus Bowl. And been an assistant at Tennessee since 1980.
Shotgun on 3rd and 5. Tate will do it himself, and he's down to the 7-yard line with a first down. That's the 36th time today Mississippi State has run the football. And if they keep running it, they might be unbeatable. That's been their history.
Well, this is a play that Tennessee likes down at this end of the field and this position on the field. And Tate, even though he's gimped up, gets a first down.
1st and goal at the 7. Moulds in motion. Davis with the ball. And he's met right at the line of scrimmage by Tyrone Hines. Tyrone, really his first year. All-state tight end, defensive end at Haywood County High School in Brownsville, Tennessee. As we told you, he didn't even play last year when he redshirted. Got the grades in order 2 years ago so he could get on the squad. No gain, thanks to number 47. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 7. McCrary, the fullback, leading the way. Davis on the pitch, and he's down to the 5.
Well, due to his ankle problem, I don't think that he is much of a threat to really run the ball, to turn sideways and cut it upfield. He did a good job on the draw, but to plant on that left ankle and head upfield, I don't think that's going to happen. So it just turns into a delayed toss to Michael Davis when the option shows up.
3rd and goal from the 5. Bulldogs looking to tie the game. Tate with time, and it's intercepted at the 1-yard line by Ronald Davis. Flag on the play. It appears the officials are spotting the ball at the 1. Was there an offside against Tennessee on the play? It might have been Jesse Sanders, who is trying to shoot the gap to blitz from linebacker.
And Davis seems to have, he had a hamstring problem for a couple of weeks, and then he injured his knee in the last week in practice. Good grief. Such a fantastic game he's played. A great move on the ball by Ronald Davis.
I've never seen a guy high-stepping inside his own 5-yard line before. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 2. Half the distance to the goal line as Tennessee continues to experience injuries in that secondary. Oh, what a play by Tyrone Hines. 2nd tackle in the last couple of plays, his 5th of the day, and he read that one beautifully. It looks like State will settle for the field goal try.
Great defense by Tennessee. You know, in the past several years, they've made the big plays when they've had to, and that certainly was a big play in this game.
Tim Rogers, a transfer from Navy. And he's got it. A 21-yarder from the far hash. And with 9:32 remaining, Tennessee keeps the lead, but Mississippi State makes it a little bit closer. It's 21-17 Volunteers. Next, Saturday. Todd Helton in street clothes. Depending on young quarterbacks, both coaches. Tate of Mississippi State. Manning and Stewart of Tennessee. Nilo Sylvan on the kickoff return. No! Maybe to the 14. Robert Isaac, a freshman, there to say hello on special teams. A 10-play drive that didn't cover a lot of yards. It ate up some clock, capped by the Tim Rogers 21-yard field goal, and it's a 4-point game with a lot of time to go. 9:27. Peyton Manning back in there for the Volunteers. Stewart to give. He couldn't get outside. He cut up inside the corner beautifully. Andre Bennett came up to force, and he just cut right inside his right shoulder pad.
Mississippi State has its safeties playing awfully close to the line of scrimmage, and I'm not sure if it's a disguise or if they're up that close to make sure they can support the run game, but if they stay there, the ball is going to be thrown down the middle. As you see James Stewart go to the sideline
after gaining 5. Aaron Hayden, the tailback, behind Peyton Manning. He's got to give. He goes left side, and he spins off Johnny Harris. And that'll be a first down for the Volunteers. Tim, this is the part of the ball game when that experience in that offensive line really becomes important.
And this is a group of guys offensively that have been together for, all last year, and some of them even started the year before that. So, I mean, it's a group that has really molded and sticks tight together.
First down at the 28. Hayden cracked down. Looked like Corey Sears, who's backing up Jimmy Miles, shaken up at left tackle, was in on it.
And Corey Sears.
Corey is a junior college transfer from Navarro in Texas.
And now last week it didn't do them much good being a group that was molded well together, against Florida, and that the defensive front and the effort that they put forth. But against a more inexperienced line like this Mississippi State, it's going to help a lot.
2nd and 7. Play action by Manning. Up top, long up the left side. And a little bit too far. He was looking down there for number 89, 88, Courtney Epps.
Charlie Davidson defending.
And that was a timing route. Manning just went back to throw it, laid it up down the left side there. Davidson in good shape, ran right with him. Epps wasn't able to separate from him.
Here's a big play in the game. Tennessee has to keep the football. 3rd down and 7. Manning, lots of time. In traffic, he's got Joey Kent. And he's inside the 40 of Mississippi State with his 8th catch of the day.
Manning's pass, Joey Kent. Tackled by Walt Harris.
You've got to have a strong arm to throw the ball into traffic like this.
37.
And you have to have a lot of confidence to throw it in traffic like this. And I'm sure if he'd have seen everybody that was converging on the ball, he wouldn't have thrown it into traffic like that. But he did, and Kent came out with the ball, and big play for Tennessee.
What a day for Joey Kent, the sophomore out of Huntsville. 108 yards in catches. Manning out to the left side where he has a man open, and that's Kendrick Jones. Jones getting a chance to start today because of the leg bruise that has Billy Williams out of there. Billy Williams was hurt on the first play of the UCLA game, has been trying to play hurt, has caught 8 passes since, but had to be held out of this one. Look at that. He had 6 of those receptions on a touchdown drive in the second quarter. 1st down at the 26. Manning to Hayden. Wow. Couple of Bulldogs were there. Paul Lacoste, number 20, and Dwayne Curry, 44. Looked like he ran into a wall and went straight backwards.
Yeah, big hit there by Curry. Lacoste was there to help out, but Curry put the hit on him.
Dwayne Curry had 7 straight double-digit games interrupted by leg cramps 2 weeks ago. 2nd and 9 at the 25. Hayden drops the ball. The Bulldogs say they've got it, and they do. Larry Williams, the nose tackle, up with it. There is some sticking going on in there. And a big turnover with 6:02 to go.
Bill Fulmer there talking it over with Peyton Manning, trying to find out what happened from Peyton's point of view.
6:02 left. Great opportunity for Mississippi State to win the ball game. Turnovers a big factor today. And Tate wants to get the drive started properly and calls a timeout. In the final 6:02. Home opener, and the Bulldogs have a chance to take the lead. Mississippi State in the 4th quarter, getting the fumble recovery from Larry Williams. 1st down at their own 30. Down by 4. Tate fakes it to Davis, plenty of time, and then he finds Bernard Ewell. That's out beyond the 45-yard line. 17-yard gain. Ewell was the motion man on that play, and he motioned right into a nice pattern.
Michael Brown heading up the field, cleared it out for Ewell. Good throw by Tate. Down to Bob Kessling.
On the move, Bob, it's all yours.
Yeah, James Littleman Stewart re-injured a left ankle twist. They're retaping that. If you notice, Ronald Davis is back in the left corner. He had sprained his knee on that last series. They wanted to hold him out and put an ice pack on it. He said he wanted to come right back in the game, and he did.
Tate with time to spare. Now he'll run it, and he'll angle out of bounds at the 47 of Tennessee. So he'll get about 6 on that play.
And that time Chris Jones was taking Ronald Davis deep, and he looks like he can run all right. Ronald Davis. Good job of protection by Mississippi State. Finally,
Second down.
Steve White is drawn across his face and takes off. But good coverage by the Tennessee secondary.
They'll call it a 7-yard gain and make it 2nd and a long 3. Tate to Davis. First down and more. He's down beyond the 32-yard line. A gain of 15. And the Bulldogs keep running that football very effectively.
Nice block by McCrary in the hole, and then Davis really breaks some tackles. He just keeps powering his way along. He is out to prove something this afternoon. As we mentioned before, disappointed in his performance against LSU. He's not going to be disappointed in this performance.
They've now run the ball 43 times today. Bolts in motion near side. Play action. Tate up top. Man open. And it's dropped in the end zone. Chris Jones with Sean Summers closing on him. And Summers got there just in time.
Well, Chris Jones had Sean Summers beat, and this ball is a little underthrown. As a cornerback, you can't cover this route, really. I mean, play action away, you're drawn inside, but Jones was well behind him, and Summers fights his way back to make the play. Way to stay with it. I'm sure Tate thought he had it, just a little underthrown.
2nd and 10. Little draw play off the shotgun, and not much there for Michael Davis. Now this will lead them with 3rd down and about 8. Of course, this may be, with 4.5 minutes to go, this could be 4 down territory for Jackie Sherrill. The field goal, doesn't do him any good. He's down by 4. We'll call it a long 8, a short 9. And Tennessee will call it timeout. 4:19 to go. Another tight one on our Lee SEC game of the week. Volunteers trying to hold on. Our Nationwide Insurance SEC Scholar of the Athlete of the Week, and we'll do it right after this play. We've got 3rd and 9 at the 30. And 5 DBs back there for Tennessee. Quarterback Tate is hit. And the ball is picked up by the Volunteers. Now the ball's dropped again and run down the field. And it ends up at the 41-yard line. Now there's a flag at the 48 of Mississippi State.
Tennessee had actually put 6 defensive backs in the game. I'm not sure I didn't know they had 6 defensive backs on the trip.
Healthy.
Right.
Steve White with a big hit. Got all of that started.
Flag on the play.
Illegal forward pass. He pitched the ball forward. Still 1st down. This way after a 5-yard penalty.
So after it was recovered, a little illegal forward pass. And here's Tate being hit that got it all started.
Steve White came around the outside, make the first contact, and knocked the ball loose.
Yeah, Leland Taylor picked it up. So the Bulldogs' drive has been stalled by their 4th turnover. Aaron Hayden trying to get outside, might have had a face mask. Leslie Lisi was reaching for him and evidently got the face guard.
Face mask, added on to the end of the run, still 1st down.
Center Brian Anderson of Mississippi State is our Nationwide Insurance SEC Scholar Athlete of the Week. A junior from Prattville, Alabama, 2.58 grade point average in education. Congratulations to Brian, and thanks to Nationwide.
And that's our 2nd center in a row.
Oh, yes.
All right. So those
a lot of things to handle at that position.
Intellectual offensive line.
Second down and 5 at the 47. Aaron Hayden again. Ball is on the ground, and the Bulldogs have it back. Looks like James Greer came up with it. Aaron Hayden was hit by Johnny Harris. And Greer, a redshirt freshman who backs up Michael Lindsay, a defensive end, got it. Look at number 90 lurking there.
Hard to see when it came out there, but both defenses doing their job to create the plays that give the offense a chance to put this thing away.
Plenty of time to go. Each team with 2 timeouts. Tate, and a diving catch out on the right side by Eric Moulds. That'll cover 12 yards and move it into Tennessee territory. What a crazy game this has been. 9 turnovers between the clubs, 5 by Tennessee. Clock runs with 3:25 remaining. Single back is Bowie. He's looking to go off the left side. And he was tripped up at the line of scrimmage by Bill Duff, number 50. Duff, a redshirt freshman out of Delran, New Jersey. Former high school All-American. And when Mississippi State keeps the ball on the ground, look at how tough they are to beat. Unbeaten in 14 games under Jackie Sherrill when they run it 45 times or more, which they now have done.
Jackie Sherrill's trying to get a timeout on the sideline. Tate doesn't see him.
2:38 to go. 2nd and 9. There's a shotgun. Little slant by Moulds. Had one guy tugging his jersey, 2 others tackled him. That'll stop the clock as the chains move. With 2:27 remaining.
Tate is a young quarterback, and he is going to decide who he's going to throw it to, and he's going to throw it in there. And he's got the arm, the velocity to deliver it on time.
First down at the 28. Tate waiting and throwing it into a lot of traffic, and it's a good thing he threw a sinker.
And that's the other thing that's going to happen. If who he's looking for isn't there, then there's no telling what's going to happen. And then he's going to see he's going to let it go at the first thing that's kind of maroon. It looks like there's no white shirts around it, but it gets to be dangerous.
Derek Tate came into this game just over 50% for the season. So he's had a good day. His turnovers have been a big stopper for both offenses, though.
If he can get this Tennessee defense locked up man-to-man and get a scramble on something like that.
It appeared he was looking for a back who wasn't there. And that play will lose a yard or 2. Troy Teague, left defensive tackle who backs up Corey Stone in on the stop.
And Tate is slow getting up. He's playing in a lot of pain. So I guess in terms of quarterback mobility, that's about it for Derek. He'll sit back there and throw it, but I guess he isn't going to run too far with it.
And Mississippi State calls it second timeout. With 1:53 to go.
Behind Derek Tate is Darren Clark, who is a high school quarterback and then played wide receiver here till last year. He played a little quarterback against Alabama.
Well, these teams haven't played since the 1991 season because of the reconfiguration of the league. It was Johnny Majors against Jackie Sherrill. A couple of former pit coaches getting together. And the Volunteers. There's Andy Kelly up over the top. Mark Adams in the end zone, and the Volunteers at home, looking up to the big crowd and celebrating a 26-24 lead. Well, Porter, of course, an assistant at that time. Now he's the head man, and he's trying to hold on here. 3rd and 12 at the 30. Off the shotgun. Tate with time. Oh, and the ball was dropped. Kenny Causey was open. Found a big seam in that secondary. And now it's 4th down.
Excellent read by Derek Tate. He came off his primary receiver, went to Causey. The ball was thrown behind him, but Kenny Causey is the kind of receiver that usually makes that catch. Like a couple of other Bulldogs on this team. He was a freshman All-SEC player.
Well, the ball game may come down to this for the Bulldogs. 4th and 12 at the 30. Tate up top and has it inside the 10. He beat Jason Parker in the air. There's a late flag down at the 3-yard line. We have a preliminary report that George Kidd has been ejected. He's going to the far bench right now.
And it looks like Bowie is out too.
Must have been doing some dueling downfield away from the pass. Clock is stopped with 1:41 to go. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs at the 8-yard line.
What a play. What a catch by Moles. I mean, Derek Tate let this go. This is desperation here. He doesn't really put a lot of heat on it. He can't see anything. He's going down, and Moles comes in and makes that catch. Fantastic. In between Parker and the true freshman, Terry Fair.
And of course, those players out for the first half of the next game. That's a blow to an already struggling Tennessee defense. And here we go, 1st and goal from the 8 for the Bulldogs with 1:30 remaining. Tate. Little draw play, Davis! And he's inside the 5. He'll slide down to the 4. They've got 1 timeout remaining. Clock down to 1:15. Taking their time huddling up here.
Well, there's a lot of time. Mississippi State would just as soon score on the last play of the game, I'm sure.
Backs are split. 3 wide receivers. Shotgun for Tate. Looking right side. Up top. Too far for Moles. He was matched up with Ronald Davis out there on the right corner.
Yeah, I would throw it someplace else. Ronald Davis is, got 3 catches for the day. That's enough.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 4. They've got to have the touchdown. 5 of Mississippi State's greatest victories ever in their history have come at the expense of the Volunteers. 3 of those in Knoxville, 2 in Memphis. They're looking for the first one on campus.
Now they've got Moles over on Terry Fair.
Davis cuts it back. He was headed for the end zone before he ran into a pile of players. Jackie Sherrill will use his final timeout, and it'll be 4th and goal when we come back. 40 seconds to go. Dogs trying to win it. Seconds to go, and the ball game is coming down to this play. 4th and goal for Mississippi State. The 11th play of this drive after the turnovers. And it's at the Tennessee 2-yard line. Fake to Davis. Tate. Touchdown! Kendall Watkins, the tight end.
Was the old tight end delay, Bob. Wilkins just hit out into the linebacker, then ran off to the side. Big play. Jackie Sherrill, of course, excited. Watch the big tight end. Sticks into Shane Burton, then drifts out into flat. Sanders can't get there in time, and he gets lost in the action. Touchdown, Mississippi State.
Kind of hard to lose a tight end who's 6'2", 299, but he was lost long enough, and he has his second career touchdown catch. A senior out of Jackson. Didn't get to play 2 years ago because of knee surgery. Caught 6 balls last year. Spent the entire year blocking, and it may be the most glorious moment of his career. And that was an important extra point, because now Tennessee, if they get a field goal, could only tie. 24-21, Bulldogs with 36 seconds to go. An 11-play, 52-yard drive.
Well, you got Eric Moles there. You've got a quarterback that can scramble. You've got Chris Jones, who's a leading wide receiver, and you got Kendall Watkins, who caught 6 passes last year.
Jim Rogers on the kickoff. Will pooch it. Ball is coming down. Nobody touches it. Now it's on the ground. And the Bulldogs have it. Nobody from Tennessee took charge. And Byron McCall, a senior linebacker, picked it up. Special teams players dream about situations like that. And Mississippi State just has to run off the clock. Tennessee's turned it over 6 times. They do have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, congratulations to the Bulldog staffs. On offense, Bruce Arians, Ricky Black, Rick Christophel, Jimmy Helms, and Denver Johnson. And on defense, Bill Clay, Pete Jenkins, Ken Pope, and Jim Tompkins. And there's a head coach that's awfully disappointed with the performance of his team, and I'm sure that he will use this as a lesson for them as they move into the rest of the season.
Our Burger King players of the game, Peyton Manning, who awoke the Tennessee offense, threw for a couple of touchdowns on 14 completions. And Michael Davis, a workhorse of a day for the senior out of Morton, Mississippi, 120 yards. As part of our Players of the Game Award Scholarship Program, Jefferson Pilot Sports will donate $2,000 to the SEC to be distributed among its member institutions. Second down, Tennessee can stop the clock one more time, according to our count, if they choose to do so. And they evidently will, with 17 seconds to go. And the celebration is about to begin in Starkville.
Well, Bob, you know, it started out as a strange game. It was like Tennessee had tons of field position in the first quarter. Mississippi State didn't look like they could get anything going. It was strange. And then all of a sudden, Peyton Manning hits Jones, and it's 76 yards, 7-0. And then Mississippi State wakes up, makes a long drive, and then in the second half, Mississippi State goes to the ground with that man right there. Michael Davis and McCrary leading the way, and a patchwork offensive line that just performed exceptionally well.
Kneeling on it again is Derek Tate, and it looks like the finest hour for the Bulldogs on campus in many years.